Hello, welcome back to the fish locker. Oh, on a lovely day on the rocks. You can just see I've just got my rod set up behind me. We're pretty much bang on low water, so any minute now the water's going to start running this way. I've got two baits out at distance. I'm fishing bluey and squid today, and I'm hoping for like a ray or a huss or anything that comes along. Just such a lovely day. I just had to go out, and you see, if you can see a little float down there, all I've done is I've just skegged about in all the rock pools. I managed to get up a couple of little prawns, so I've stuck out a live prawn on a float on a circle hook, see if there's a bass or a wrasse around. It was just literally that lovely a day that I couldn't say no. Any luck and we'll get to show you a fish. As I bring the rigs in, I'll show you them. It's my standard up and over rig. I'll put a link in to show you how to make them. And I think it's 3 O's and 4 O's specimen extras in pennel with a little bit of bluey. The wind's picking up at the moment. It's east southeast and it's going to be going more easterly, so it should be coming this way. That shouldn't bother us here if it stays what the forecast says. Yeah. There we are. This is the first retrieve. Been out there for 20 odd minutes. That tells me two things. It tells me that where I'm casting there's quite a bit of weed, and it also tells me that we might have a problem with crabs. You want to let go of it. There, look. Now, although that bait, it still had a bit left in it, you can see where it's been chewed to pieces. Now, this is the beauty of this. I have all of my traces on a barrel swivel. And when I'm waiting for a bite, I make a couple of other ones up. You see there, it's just a section of bluey. I think these are 6 O's specimen extras, trying a bigger gauge, and all I've done is I've just lashed it on, and that's it. The beauty of it is pre-baited trace, clip it on, pull the little bits of weed off, put the legs back on the lead, and you're ready to go. See, because if you think about that, if it takes you 5 minutes to make a bait up and you rebait every 20 minutes, that means you've lost what, 15 minutes to the hour. If that's a 6-hour session, you've lost nearly an hour, and that's just on one rod. Whereas if you pre-bait, it'll take you a minute instead of, you get what I mean. You won't catch anything if your bait's not in the water. Speaking of which, I'm going to get this back out. Just had a couple of nice knocks on this left hand side rod, just too good. And now the right hand side one's going. Now, a bullus has generally got quite an aggressive bite, whereas a ray, it can sometimes give a false bite just as it finds the bait. So you want to let the bite develop. Now, unless the line slackens right up, which means that it's picked it up and come towards you, or the rod starts running, as in like it bends right over and the fish moves off, I like to try and give it a minute. I was just about to bring that one in as well. Stuck now. Do you reel it in? Do you not reel it in? Well, as before, weed and something definitely had this in its mouth. Look, bait's been completely mashed. Let's get it changed over and put back out. Tide's just starting to flood in now, so hopefully this means that fish will be coming on the feed with it. As you can see, tide's coming in and pushing it up the rock. Just been cycling the baits out, every 20 minutes, and they are getting pretty well chewed. We have been getting a bit of interest. Every now and again you get like a little knock and a little nod. Did land like a little tiny dogfish. It was absolutely tiny. I've still got my float out, a live prawn on, hoping for a bass coming past, or maybe a wrasse even. Yeah, there's a bite on the right hand side rod. It's a lovely evening, isn't it? Even though the fishing's not been fantastic, it's a fantastic evening to be out. Can't beat it. Throw a couple of fish in and it'll be perfect. Those little nodding bites that I've been getting. Could be a little fish, could be a fish trying to manoeuvre the bait into its mouth. Also, it could have been that as the tide's running in, you picked up a bit of weed on the line or on the lead, and it's chipped the lead out and it's slowly bumping. So what you're waiting for is either like something erratic, something very strong, or like a slack line bite, like I keep saying. Well, I found what was giving us that annoying pecking bite. If you believe it, this is actually bigger than the last one. Some bonny markings on him. Thought he was a huss on the way in, but he's not, he's a dogfish. There you go, a little lesser spotted dogfish. You can tell this is a dogfish rather than a huss, because a bull huss has got big nasal flaps, and this hasn't. It's easier to see what's a huss rather than what isn't. Barely even a pound. In fact, if you can see, it's actually just in the process of laying a purse. Look, see the string? The dogfish purse attached to the other end of that. So this is actually a pregnant female. Crazy, isn't it? Put it in this rock hole and see if we can get a video of it to get and go. Yeah, cheeky little sod. That was it, just the up and over rig. And these are actually, I think these are 4-row partridge extras. I don't know if the red colour has any benefit. You know, they do say that some things catch fish and some things catch anglers. Well, got the fish, didn't it? Get this bait change, get back out. This is the second one of these I've caught today. There's my hook and bait. Somebody else's lost tackle. I did this last time I was out. I ended up going home with more tackle than I came with. It's very rare that happens. Looks like he was fishing a pulley dropper. Oh well, the weed's becoming a bit of a nuisance now. Obviously, as the tide's running hard, pushing more weed. So I've had to up the weight of the leads. I'm not sure which one this is. I think this is maybe 180 or 185 grams. Baits are still getting chewed up as well, but we carry on. I'm going to take 2 minutes real quick just to show you how I've been baiting up. Like I said, this wasn't really a planned session. It was just so nice a day that I couldn't pass it up. So just to scrape together what bait I had. Now you can see when you're frozen and thawed squid a couple of times, it goes pink, so this ain't the best. These are probably twice thawed and frozen, and this bluey's the same. All I've been doing is, if you can get it on the hook and then wrap it up in a bit of squid, then bind it, it kind of holds it all together. I mean, mackerel you'll know, once it's been frozen and thawed, it goes to mush. You can see there, look, the belly's usually first place to go. These are about to pop. So all I've been doing is that'll make me a bait there. I'll run the first hook of my pennel down, in and out, and then the same again, down, round and out, and pull the line out. So that's that one sat. Your pennel hook, when I can get it down, wrap it round a couple of times, and put it into the bait, and out, and pull it tight. So there, look, I've got both my hooks in it. This is soft, it won't last long, so I'll add a little bit of squid. And all I've done, as you can see, is I've just opened a squid up and left the head on one side. I like to put the bottom hook through the head, offer it up to see where it's going to go, and pop it out. And then all I'm going to do is take my bait elastic and just give it a good lashing. And all I'm doing is I'm wrapping up the mackerel in the piece of squid. Now your soft mackerel's not going to last very long with these crabs anyway. Hopefully this little cocoon of squid that you're giving it will make it last that little bit longer. Some people like to use baiting needles. I've never really got on with them. For using really soft baits, or for using like 4 or 5 blow lug and some squid and that, it is easy to get like a bulky bait out. But I found that I can build a bait easier by hand. There you go. And there you have it. Mackerel and squid wrap. And all I'll do is I'll just do the same with the head end. And I've been cutting the bluey into little sections of about 4 inch, doing that the same. When you get to this section, when you get to the middle piece, cut it in half so you get 2, so I'll get 5 baits out of a single bluey. One of the things to be careful of as well is, when there's this much weed around, that real fine claggy stuff that sticks to like your leader knot, watch it as you're winding it in, because if it gets stuck in the end eye, I've seen it happen before when people haven't bothered to take it out of the end eye and they've tried to cast, and the extra friction as it goes through there snaps you off. So it's always best when you bring it in, take all the weed off. Take it off your weight, take it off your swivels, take it off your eye, take all the weed off. Now we are getting little knocking bites again. I think they are just little tiny dogfish and little tiny hooks. Any luck, with a bit of perseverance, we might find a bigger fish amongst them. We've got about 2.5 hours of the flood left. No, 2 hours of the flood left. Which should coincide with darkness, so hopefully we might get a fish then. Well, finally my perseverance has paid off with something other than a dogfish, and it's a little bull huss. You see there? Now he properly took that bait. As you can see, it started raining right at the top of the tide. Now I was praying that one was going to come just at the top of the tide, and it did. Stubborn that I am, stuck around even though it started raining and it got dark, because I was sure that the fish was going to come. And as I was saying earlier on with the dogfish, tell the difference by a bull huss, because it has these 2 flaps here. I mean, he's only a little pup, maybe be 2.5 pound if I'm lucky. I mean, they go up to 20. I've had them well into double figures from round here. So this is only a baby, but I tell you what, I'm glad he's here. We'll let him go. Incredibly well camouflaged, aren't they? Come on, don't be a nuisance. There it goes. Got it wrong way, kid. There he is. Right, I'm going to call it a night. Stayed out loads longer than I should have done. Told my wife I was going to be home like an hour ago, and I've still got 3/4 of an hour walk to the van and then like 3/4 of an hour drive. And I was out in the rain, left my raincoat in the van. Just one of them. It's just one of them days. I saw the video at the start. It was absolutely glorious. I thought, no, of course I won't need a raincoat. We'd had a couple of little dogfish and that little huss. Loads of savage bites, which is quite typical of huss. They'll give like a real aggressive bite and then just go away and never come back. There's a lot of like little ones. So I think it is just little huss and little dogfish. I think that's what's giving me it. I've got the last baits out. We're about half an hour into the ebb now. I was expecting that if we're going to get any decent fish, it would have been over high water. I mean, high water would come about half an hour after dark. Should have been perfect. Which is when we had that little huss, but just never had anything else. I'll give these baits 2 more minutes while I pack up. Nope, there's been some useful hints and tips in here for you. Hope you enjoyed it. If we get any more fish as I'm packing up, I'll show you. If we don't, I won't. See ya. Hello, welcome back to the fish locker out on the boat. Now, it's not very often that we get to spend much free time together to get out on the boat. We've taken the opportunity. We're having a couple of quick hours out on the boat, and you can see the beautiful Mrs. Fish Locker is actually bent into a fish. Now we're just anchored up. We've literally just managed to get a couple of the rods out. One of the rods was going straight away. We've feathered up some fresh mackerel, just on a very simple, I think this is a rolling lead. Now she's playing it on a light spinning rod. So in a strong tide pull, these rays really do, I think it is a ray, they really do give their own. Now the tide is ebbing and the wind is changing a little bit, so you can see we are swinging about. But the tide's also going that way. So the rays, what they do is they open the wings out and they kite around in the tide. See, that was on a very simple, just a rolling lead and what, 3 foot hook length. You are cracking, male thornback ray. Your first one, wasn't it?
Yes.
So PB.
Whatever it weighs.
Now look. Because we just kind of made a session up out of nothing. These were the only hooks I had on the boat. 8-0 Cocks and Roll sea beasts. See, a ray having a big hook like that doesn't put them off. You'll see that they've got like a squishy part, like the cheek muscle, just in there and in there. That's the best place to get hold of them from. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel where it's nice and squishy.
Oh!
I'd say it was round about £4 or £5. We'll get some photos and get it back. No session would be complete without a dogfish. Oh, we've got loads of fighting, haven't there, them males. Backstroke. Still going for it. Still plenty of bait left on there, we'll try that again. He's full of aggression. I don't know if you can see, but he's got some little black spots on him. Got one there in the shape of a love heart. Quite a stocky male that as well. I've noticed this, and I put a question out to quite a few different people about these black markings on their nose, because I've had quite a few that have had that. Get a photo, get him back. Playing these rays on light tackle in a mover tide is quite good sport. Bullus. It's a good bullus as well. Oh, cracking one. Just hooked as well. Oh.
Wow! That's bigger than my other one.
I'm going to crack the bail arm off. That is a colossal bullus. This one here for you, huh? Look at the hook hold of that. Just a little circle up right under the chin. It wasn't even in its mouth. That's a monster. That's well over £10. Big rod.
Which one?
Big one. Too many rods, too many fish. Got it? Hold on. Lift it up. Make sure the hook's well set. It's a circle hook, so don't put it in the slack. Another cracking male thornback. Tell you what, they do scrap like crazy, these little males. Went 12-11 on the scales, so a massive double figure Huss. The size of its head.
I'm letting John do the tidying up on the boat because I do the tidying up in the house. So I'm going to come and say goodbye to you all. We've had a fun couple of hours. I had two BBs, a thornback ray, which was my first one. So whatever size it was always going to be my PB. And I had a PB bull huss, which was £12.11. John caught some dogfish, some mackerel and 2 rays. But it's always a fun time on the boat no matter how long it is. So we're going to get back to family life now and see you all again.